Okay, so in this video, we're gonna look at three-dimensional unit conversions. So where we're gonna have like cubic units and we're converting it. This is on page 14 of the packet. It might be slightly different depending how your packet printed. So for this one, when we're doing cubic feet, that's the same thing as like feet times feet times feet. And so when we convert it, we know that we want to change it to cubic inches. So we know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. And now because it's cubed, I need to do it 3 times. So I have to do this 3 times to get each of the units for the feet to cancel. Again, you could write it instead as everything cubed. So you could cube 12 and then inches cubed because I have it 3 times. And that's what it means. And then 1 cubed and feet cubed. And then these would again cancel. And you would do 20 times 12 cubed inches cubed, or you could do 20 times 12 times 12 times 12, because that's the same thing, over 1 inches cubed. And if you multiply that out, okay, you get 34,560. And then it'd be inches cubed. Okay, or you could do 20 times 12 cubed and it'll give you the same answer. Okay, so let's look at a second question. Determine how many cubic yards this would be. And it has to be smaller than 20. Okay, so we're starting again with 20 cubic feet. We want to convert it to yards. So we know there's 3 feet in 1 yard. That's our conversion factor. So again, you can either do it as leaving it as the cubed and cubing all of this, which when you do that, you cube both the number and the units. So I need the feet to cancel, so they need to go in the denominator. And then I'd have the 1 cubed over yard cubed. Okay, if I multiply this out, I have 20 times 1 cubed, which is just 1. So that's going to give me 20 in the numerator. And then 3 cubed in the denominator. So 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. And if I divide that, I get 0.7407. Or if you want to write it the other way with kind of the table, we would do feet times feet times feet. And then I would multiply by my conversion factor 3 times. So I'd have 1 yard over 3 feet. Again, 1 yard over 3 feet. And then 1 yard over 3 feet. And I have to do it 3 times to get all 3 of the feet to cancel. And then again, we get 20 over 9, yard times yard times yard is yards cubed. And then you divide that and you get the same thing, the 0.7407. Okay, so for question 3, it says, suppose an object takes up 12 cubic meters. How many cubic centimeters, how many cubic millimeters, and how many cubic kilometers? So this is similar to the 2-dimensional question on the metric units. We're going to convert it 3 times. So we have to write the conversion factors. So 1 meter is 100 centimeters. 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. And 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. So again, you can write it as the cubed, or you can write it again if you want as like the 12 meters times meters times meters, whichever way you're more comfortable with. I'm going to use this one, so I'm going to multiply it by this factor 3 times. The meters has to go in the denominator to get them to cancel. Okay, or again, you could do cubed. So each of these cancel. And then I'm gonna do 12 times 100 times 100 times 100. And then that is, my units are centimeters cubed, because I have centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. Okay, and if you want to do it the way that you cube it, you should get the same answer. If I want to do millimeters, then I'm going to use that second conversion. So I'm still going to start with the 12 meters cubed. But now I'm going to multiply by this one. Again, the meters has to go in the denominator. And the 1,000 has to go in the numerator, and I have to multiply it by this conversion factor 3 times. Okay, if you multiply this out, you're going to get a very large number. And then it's millimeters cubed. And then the last one is converting this to kilometers. Now this one, we're going to get a smaller value because meters is smaller than kilometers. So for this, we're going to do that third conversion factor, which is 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. Okay, again, meters goes in the denominator. I have to do it 3 times to get each one to cancel. So if I do this, I get 12 kilometers cubed in the numerator. Get that in the denominator, and then if I divide it, and again, this is where your calculator is going to give you that E. So I have 7 zeros and then 12 just to check it. Okay, or this one is probably easier with all the zeros to just do the 1,000 cubed. So I get 1.2 times 10 to the -8, which you can write it that way. Okay, but what that means is I'm going to move the decimal place over 8 to the left. And if I do that, it's going to be over 1 and then 7 more spaces. So there should be 7 zeros and then the 12. And that's what I have. Okay, so that's how you convert it in the metric system. And then one last problem is just an application problem that will be similar to your homework. This is going to be calculating the volume, which is length times width times height. We'll learn that in the next unit, but just know that volume is length times width times height when we're talking about a rectangular prism, which is what a basement is. So it says a basement for a 35-foot by 50-foot house is to be dug by a depth of 12 feet. Okay, so this would be my length, width, and this would be my height. How many cubic yards of, this should say earth, needs to be hauled away? Assume the surface of the ground is level. So you could convert each of these to yards and then calculate the volume, but it's actually quicker to calculate the volume first and then do the conversion. So the volume would be length times width times height. And if you do that, you get 21,000, and it's feet times feet times feet. So the units for volume are feet cubed. I'm gonna convert that to yards. Again, we know that there's 3 feet is 1 yard. Okay, so I have 21,000 feet cubed. I'll kind of do this the other way because I did the other ones with multiplying it out. So I would cube everything. So I'd have 1 cubed yard cubed over 3 cubed feet cubed. And the feet goes in the denominator, so these cancel. So I get 21,000 times 1 cubed yard cubed over 3 cubed. So that's 21,000 over 27. And that gives you 777.78 if I do 2 decimal places, yard cubed. Okay, so again, you could do the conversion factor like 35 times 1/3, and then 50 times 1/3, and 12 times 1/3, and then calculate the area. But I think this is faster because you only have to do 1 conversion factor. So that's the conversion factor for the cubic units. Let me know if you have any questions on it.